XFL merging.
Yeah. I performed a seance the other day, and Ray Charles said he saw that coming. You know, which is amazing because he's dead. I know what you thought, hater. No, but
damn, you know me too well.
Damn it. Hashtag talent. No. So let me lead with this because we know precisely, Jack. Okay. Good thing overall, right? We know the mission, at least from far as I mean, I cover the XFL deeply. I regularly cover the Orlando Guardians. And yes, I know they were a 1-9 team, but then they beat the team that lost in the championship, who was undefeated up until that point, and for the rest of the season, except for the championship game. Side point is this: we don't know anything else besides the fact they have every intention of signing a contract to merge. That is it. The list of things that needs to get worked out. How much is The Rock and Danny Garcia going to be involved? Who's going to air it? Because the TV rights are in two different companies. And you've seen how much that stuff slows things down in college football. I can only imagine what's going on here. Who's going to remain left? I can tell you this. I have heard that teams that don't have established venues are at a disadvantage. Good news for those of us covering teams in Orlando, by the way.
Yes.
And there's another list of issues that still need to all get work. Oh, yeah. They don't even know, are they going to do the pod system and play in a single place? Or are they going to do like the XFL does and practice in a pod and then play in their individual cities? All of that needs to get worked out. And I'm just scratching the surface, right? I don't know how quickly they're going to try to move. If this were college football where something of this ilk was happening, like if it was a huge realignment or merging of stuff, this would take 2 years.
Right.
Okay. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm fairly certain they're going to try to launch for 2024. Let me tell you why that's dangerous. I think the XFL had the success it did because it kicked off right after the Super Bowl and gave the junkies what they wanted, the football junkies.
A little short in the arm after the season, right?
Me included, I'll say for the record.
Right.
But I feel like losing that element of continuation would be very detrimental to what seems to be called the NSFL.
Interesting. But ultimately, this is a good thing, though, you think, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only reason why I'm not saying it's as inevitable as Thanos is Thanos was a villain, and I think this is not a villain. I think this is a good thing that's going to happen. Yes.
Right. I still think we're still a ways away from making spring football a habit. We're still a couple years away from that.
Be careful there, EJ Christian. Maybe a couple years is accurate. I know people that will outright wave the flag that spring football is going to fail. Let me tell you why it has a fighting chance, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And none of it has anything to do with the product itself. I think we've established, at least I feel like the XFL was as good or a better product than the AAF that got ratings. And, the problem was the guy who they brought in to get more financial backing was shady and scandalous and, basically raided the league and ran.
Correct.
You're not going to have that problem, assuming they stay involved with The Rock and Danny Garcia. You're just not. By the way, done some press with Danny Garcia in Scrum. She's incredibly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And sharp. The issue, believe it or not, the evidence of the issue I see starts with all the cuts at ESPN, Ernest Christian. Let me tell you where I'm going.
Okay.
ESPN, as evidenced by those cuts, is hemorrhaging cash. College football has become more expensive to run, air, and broadcast, meaning less revenue to the program such as they are. What else that means? Less revenue to pay coaches, less revenue to back NIL collectives.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they directly contribute to the collectives, but the administrative duration and running that and recruiting that, which recruiting is a bigger expense than it's ever been in college football, I think is a safe thing to say.
Right.
Because you're not recruiting new players anymore. You got to recruit your own players too. And not everybody has the chutzpah, let's say, of Deion Sanders. If ESPN is hemorrhaging that much money, if Fox and CBS are also less inclined to pay more for college football, it's going to hit a wall in growth, might even contract. Where spring football now is staying right there with prospects ready to go at a much cheaper cost and a possibly more stable scenario. Now, what does the NFL pay to get college players? Right now, nothing. But the NFL, for a minute, is going to be competing with NIL. Example, Shedeur Sanders.
You got it right.
No, I said Shedeur Sanders. It's Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
At quarterback. I believe he's not going to come out immediately because his first year of his NFL contract won't make the same money as NIL. We're running into the problem with that leather-headed players back when college was more popular than professional football at the turn of the century used to exist. That's on the table for the elite players. So if I'm a non-elite player and I'm ready for the NFL draft, will that pull me in? Maybe.
Right.
But now that those lower players are getting pulled by that, then the pool of other players that fell through the gap, more of them that are better are going to be available for spring football. And I don't have to waste draft picks to get those guys. And I can have more capital to trade for free agents in the meantime. And it puts me in a position to where the college product is less necessary, and the NFL is not going to be as dependent on that, which is bad. Like, basically this. The NFL would be in a position to get a supply line advantage and kind of squeeze or avoid college football as an option. And you may theoretically get more experienced guys out of the USFL, dudes that know what it is to deal with, the money and don't have the learning curve of, how to behave in front of the press and all that other happy stuff. The little things that if you're going to get pulled in, you need to know right away. So just some things to think about. I'm not saying that college football is going away. Right. I'm just saying
adjustments
with the way that college football is going to potentially be less lucrative soon. It would be interesting to see how that impacts the sport.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Well,